The Young and the Restless spoilers Ian Ward's proposal. The alliance no one expected. The tension in Genoa City reached new heights as Ian Ward, the master manipulator, approached Victor Newman with an unexpected offer. For years, Ian had been a thorn in Victor's side, a nemesis who thrived on chaos and destruction. But now, he claimed to have information that could shift the balance in their fight against Jordan, a secret too valuable for Victor to ignore. Ian's shocking revelation. Ian entered Victor's office unannounced, his usual smug demeanor replaced with something more restrained, almost earnest. Victor's eyes narrowed as Ian began to speak. "I know I'm the last person you want to see, Victor," Ian said, his voice calm but tinged with urgency. "But I have information you can't afford to ignore. Jordan's escaped Genoa City, and she's the one who's taken Sharon." Victor's face remained unreadable, but his piercing eyes betrayed a flicker of interest. Ian continued, leaning forward slightly. "I don't know where Sharon is being held. Jordan made sure I wouldn't. But I was the one who got her out of prison, and I can help you find her." The admission sent a wave of anger through Victor. "So, you're telling me you freed Jordan, the same woman who's now endangering my family? And now you want me to trust you?" Ian nodded, undeterred by Victor's growing fury. "Yes, because Jordan and I are no longer allies. She used me to get what she wanted, and now she's gone rogue. I want her stopped as much as you do." Victor studied Ian carefully. The man was a known liar, but there was something different this time, a desperation in his voice that made Victor pause. If Ian truly had turned on Jordan, his insider knowledge could be invaluable. Ian's next move was as bold as it was unexpected. "Let's work together, Victor," he said, his tone steady. "Jordan is too dangerous to take down alone. But together, we can end this once and for all." Victor scoffed. "You expect me to believe that you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart? What's your angle, Ian?" Ian's smile returned, but it lacked its usual malice. "Let's just say I'm tired of Jordan thinking she can outsmart me. And besides, if we succeed, you'll owe me. That's worth more to me than anything." The words hung in the air, and Victor's mind raced. Trusting Ian Ward went against every instinct he had, but the stakes were too high. Sharon's life was on the line, and Jordan was a threat that couldn't be underestimated. Victor remained skeptical but couldn't ignore the opportunity Ian presented. His decision was solidified later that day when he overheard Nikki, Victoria, and Claire discussing the family's efforts to stop Jordan. "It's not enough," Victoria said, frustration evident in her voice. "She's always one step ahead of us. We're going to lose this fight." Claire, trying to maintain hope, added, "We can't give up, but we need help. Someone who knows her moves, someone who can anticipate her next step." Victor's jaw tightened as he realized the truth: they couldn't win this alone. With Ian's insider knowledge, they stood a chance. Without it, Sharon's fate, and perhaps the family's safety, was in jeopardy. The unlikely alliance. The next morning, Victor called Ian to meet at Newman Enterprises. Ian arrived promptly, his expression betraying neither triumph nor trepidation. "I'm listening," Victor said curtly. "You want to take down Jordan? Fine. But understand this: the moment you step out of line, I'll make sure you regret it." Ian grinned. "I wouldn't expect anything less, Victor. Now, let's get to work." A renewed fight against Jordan. With Victor and Ian unexpectedly aligned, the Newman family's efforts took on new momentum. Ian's knowledge of Jordan's tactics and connections gave them an edge they hadn't had before. Victor, ever the strategist, kept a close eye on Ian, fully aware of the danger he posed. But for now, their shared goal of stopping Jordan outweighed the risks of the alliance. The family's reaction. When Victor revealed his decision to the family, the reaction was swift and divided. Nikki was furious. "How could you trust him after everything he's done to us?" she demanded. Victoria was more pragmatic. "If it means finding Sharon and stopping Jordan, we don't have a choice." Even Claire, who had worked tirelessly to earn back the family's trust, voiced her doubts. "Ian Ward isn't someone who helps without a price. Are we ready to pay it? Victor silenced the debate with a single declaration. I'll deal with Ian. But Jordan has gone too far, and I won't let her tear this family apart. A dangerous game. The alliance between Victor and Ian Ward set the stage for a showdown with Jordan, but the stakes couldn't be higher. As Victor and Ian worked to unravel Jordan's plans, questions of trust and loyalty loomed large. Could Ian truly be trusted, or was this another of his schemes? And how would the Newman family cope with the moral compromises they were forced to make? One thing was certain, the battle for Genoa City had just begun, and no one would escape unscathed. This narrative emphasizes the tension and complexity of Victor's decision while setting up the dramatic alliance with Ian Ward. Let me know if you'd like to explore any specific aspect further. Victor's warning, never let your guard down. Victor Newman had seen it all. His years of battles, betrayals, and triumphs had taught him one invaluable lesson: trust no one without proof of loyalty. As Ian Ward re-entered the Newman family's orbit, offering his help against Jordan, Victor was clear with his family and allies. Do not let your guard down, Victor declared, his tone commanding and unyielding. Ian Ward is a snake. He might say he's on our side, but he's always playing an angle. We'll use him for what he's worth, but never forget who we're dealing with. Victor's words carried the weight of a man who had faced countless betrayals. He had learned from his failures, each one leaving scars that shaped his unbreakable resolve. Ian Ward's secret condition. As Ian laid out his plan to help Victor defeat Jordan, he revealed his terms, a condition that was as bold as it was controversial. If I help you take down Jordan, Ian began, his voice steady and confident, I want a seat at Newman Enterprises. Not just a meaningless position, either. I want to work at the heart of your empire, where my expertise can truly shine. Victor's eyes narrowed, his expression unreadable. Ian leaned back in his chair, a sly smile creeping onto his face. And more than that, Ian continued, I want respect. I want people to see me as more than just a villain. I want forgiveness, Victor. The room was silent for a moment, the weight of Ian's request hanging heavily in the air. It was an audacious demand, one that seemed absurd at first glance. But Ian, ever the manipulator, knew exactly how to frame it. A reasonable yet dangerous demand. Ian's condition, while bold, wasn't without merit. His knowledge of Jordan's tactics and his ability to anticipate her moves were critical to the Newman family's success. Without him, their chances of stopping Jordan were slim. Ian knew this and used it to his advantage. I've made mistakes, Ian admitted, his tone almost disarmingly sincere. But I'm offering you my expertise, my knowledge, my loyalty. I'm not asking for a free pass, I'm asking for a chance to prove I'm more than my past. Victor's face remained impassive, but his mind raced. The offer was dangerous, but it was also logical. Ian's insight could turn the tide against Jordan, and if granting him a role at Newman Enterprises was the price, it might be worth it, provided Victor could keep him under control. Victor's experience shapes his strategy. Victor, seasoned by years of hard-fought battles, knew better than to let emotions cloud his judgment. He had failed before, often because he had underestimated the lengths his enemies would go to. This time, he would approach the situation with the full force of his experience. You want to work for Newman Enterprises? Victor finally said, his voice measured and deliberate. And you expect forgiveness and respect from people who have every reason to despise you? Ian nodded, unflinching. That's exactly what I want. And I think you'll find that what I bring to the table is worth it. Victor leaned forward, his piercing gaze locked onto Ian. We'll see. But if you cross me, Ian, if you even think about double-crossing me, I'll destroy you. Do you understand? Ian's smile widened, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of nervousness. Perfectly, he said. The family's reaction when Victor informed his family of Ian's condition, the response was explosive. Nikki, Victoria, and Nick all voiced their outrage, each for different reasons. This is insane, Victor, Nikki said, her voice filled with disbelief. You can't seriously be considering letting Ian Ward into Newman Enterprises. Nick, ever protective of the family legacy, was even more forceful. He's a criminal, Dad. A liar and a manipulator. You think giving him access to our company is a good idea? Victoria, though equally skeptical, saw the logic behind Victor's decision. We don't have to trust him, she said cautiously, but if he can help us stop Jordan, maybe it's worth the risk. As long as we're careful. Victor raised a hand to silence the room. I'm not asking you to trust Ian, he said firmly. I'm asking you to trust me. I've dealt with men like him before, and I've learned from my mistakes. This time, we'll stay one step ahead. Ian joins the fight with the alliance cemented. Ian began working closely with Victor to dismantle Jordan's operations. His insights proved invaluable, giving Victor and his family an edge they hadn't had before. But true to Victor's warning, no one let their guard down around Ian. Every move he made was watched, every word he said scrutinized. Ian, for his part, played his role flawlessly. He offered advice, uncovered leads, and even took risks to gain Victor's trust. But deep down, everyone knew Ian Ward always had his own agenda. The Alliance's first test, the first major test of the Victorian Alliance, came when they discovered one of Jordan's hidden safe houses. Ian's information led them to a remote location where Jordan had been storing documents that could expose her next move. But when Victor's team arrived, they found the place booby-trapped, a clear indication that Jordan had anticipated their move. Did you know about this? Victor demanded, his tone icy as he turned to Ian. Ian raised his hands defensively. I swear, Victor, I had no idea. Jordan's good, but even she can't cover every angle. Let me make it up to you, I'll get you the information you need. Victor's glare lingered, but he eventually nodded. You'd better. And you'd better not waste my time. A dangerous partnership. As the fight against Jordan continued, the partnership between Victor and Ian remained fraught with tension. Ian's motives were never entirely clear, and his demand for a position at Newman Enterprises loomed over every interaction. But for now, the alliance held, bound by a shared goal, stopping Jordan before she could do more harm. Victor's experience and caution guided every decision, ensuring that Ian could never gain the upper hand. But even Victor couldn't deny that Ian's involvement was proving to be a double-edged sword, one that could either save the Newman family or destroy it from within. This version highlights the tension and complexity of Victor and Ian's alliance, balancing the practical need for cooperation with the ever-present danger of betrayal. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or additions.